What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, team? What's happening, my Worthmore family? How y'all doing today? How y'all doing today? As we know, I like to gather information, seek knowledge, talk about what's good, and talk about what's real. Um, and today we got an exciting podcast to go over. One being my dog, Dr. Umar, who is suckers can't join to the T. We got I was able and blessed, with my family to be able to see and meet Dr. Umar as far as me and my kids. And it was a pleasure to meet this gentleman in person. I actually was able to get him some merchandise and get him some gear. And, through that, he shouted us out just point blank period on one of my roughest days in life. He actually gave grace and showed love to the suckers can't join team. So it's always Team Umar. I may not always agree with all of the points and topics that he speaks on, but he speaks from the heart. He speaks as a strong man, and we all need to speak how we supposed to speak and what we really feel so we can make these changes in the world. Today, I'm going to be going over a podcast and doing a reaction video to the actual podcast he had with Loon. Big Loon, which I believe is from Memphis. I respect Big Loon's work. So this is another reason why I'm going to do a reaction to this, because for me, it's about if I respect your work, if I respect your character, I'm here to actually grow and let y'all grow and know what's going on. So I just want to grow with the team, grow with my Worthmore family. And this is always good entertainment to learn more, seek more knowledge, and figure out a way to build the divide we have within our community. Suckers can't join, as you know, SCJ. So before I get started and before we go over the podcast, let's go over a couple disclaimers. So what I'm going to do is share this video right here, because like I just stated, me and Dr. Umar, we met. And after we met, my dog was suckers came joined up. And I don't never see Dr. Umar promoting anybody's brand, anybody's nothing besides the mission for the family. And he knows the type of mission we on. We on creating structure for our people, getting rid of genocide and creating everything that's in place for us that is ours in the right way. So let me just go over that. Big bang. This is live, I believe, what, 1 year ago? I want to say April. Let's go back. That's really Dr. Umar. That's really Suckers Can't Join. That's my dog, Preserve Black History. You gotta be with me. Playing pop. Playing pop. What you talking about? Shake, baby, baby, oh. Okay. So we're going to go to the part where you start talking, because we don't want YouTube to strike us.
My man says suckers can't join. SCJ. Suckers can't join FDMG. Suckers can't join Team Pan-African. Suckers can't join the Bishop Turner National Independent Black Political Movement. Suckers can't join the National Independent Black Parent Association. Suckers can't join California. I'm in the building.
Bang! Hey! I don't know if Dr. Umar did his motherfucking research, but I think he did his research, and he know who he dealing with, and he know his suckers can't join. Now let's get back to business, man. Let's get back to business. Let's stop sharing that part. Like I said, shout out Dr. Umar. Shout out the mission he's on as far as building young, strong men in our community within our future, because that's where the seeds that we misplant, and that's where we must grow our seeds. Let's get into the actual interview of Dr. Umar. And Big Loon. Here we go. Sold out event.
Y'all get it. Dr. Umar Johnson, the ref for.
The culture comes first. Could you imagine if Deion Sanders was at a historically Mexican college and he got an offer to go to Boulder, Colorado and turn his back on the Mexican students at the Mexican college on the Mexican football team? He would have never done it.
Why is this looked at like turning your back?
Yeah, we love Deion.
He took a job.
But because he did. He had a chance
Deion. We
to
all
make
got
a
a plan.
structural, systemic, historic change in the benefit of
So
black
you
athletes.
believe you believe that they would have let him make that change, but you don't believe that we have that access to any power. But he could have made that change
What
single-handedly.
access to power at Boulder, Colorado?
No, it's not a finished product. This is what I'm saying.
Okay, what will the finished product look like?
But we don't know, but he's on a
NFL,
journey the same way.
first
Here's
pick,
the thing I find,
the door
here's the thing I
landed.
find disingenuous.
That's what it's gonna
You
look
someone
like
that started a
to the
school.
Raiders.
You went through
He's coming home.
every
Suckers can't
move.
join.
You
That's
tried
why
to
I'm
move. And
black.
here's another black man.
I'm building a black school. He had a white college. How you comparing them?
Listen,
I know Deion Sanders had a charter school. He never owned an independent school like I do. It was a charter school. It was a charter school. It was a charter school.
Well,
Do you know what
hold on, sweetheart. We'll give y'all a chance. We'll give y'all a chance to speak. You know, we are live recording.
Charter schools are publicly owned.
We are live
Frederick Douglass
recording.
Marcus Garvey Academy is independently owned by black
But
people.
I'm saying, listen, back to
What
what
we
I'm
talking
saying.
about?
Umar.
What we talking about?
Dr. Umar Johnson. Listen,
What we talking about?
Listen,
Who owns it?
listen.
Trophies.
Hey, hold on, sweetheart.
Trophies.
We'll give you an opportunity. I'm gonna give you a mic
They
in
have
just
no
a
school.
second.
That's a charter school.
Listen though.
All right, let me make sure I put it all full focus. We all straight. My bad. I'm new to street. I'm new to reacting. Let's say that.
It's up there. It's up there. Ooh, thank y'all so much, man. Appreciate y'all.
Excuse me. Shout out Big Loon. Looks like the podcast is running. Having a voice, talking about real topics. Important.
It's up there. Their podcast live show was like, it was real cool. The host, he was asking a lot of like good questions for Umar to like, he was giving a lot of pushback for Umar to give his more what he had to say about the topics he had.
My experience of the It's Up There live podcast show was amazing. I came because I met Loon. Next time you have a show, I definitely will be in attendance. And I have my own podcast, so I'm definitely learning a lot from this man. King is giving me gems every time I see him.
Wonderful.
I really enjoyed the It's Up There podcast live show. I learned a lot. It's Up There live podcast show was amazing. It was a good time and always informational and the
I'll share with everybody I know.
Tonight is a very special, they say, your closed mouth don't get fed. This guy that's coming to the stage in a few minutes, I've known him since he was about 10. And he's been coming up for the last few years. And I mean, this thing right here is what's happening. And if you've listened, how many of y'all have listened to this podcast? Like, y'all know about Big Loon. He is a guy that has come from the mud and has made this thing, putting this city on his back and on the map. And he's about to bring out a cat that I know that you all are ready to see. He is in the back right now, and y'all know Dr. Umar. But right now, I want y'all to please welcome to the stage the guy that's about to take podcasting through the roof, through the stratosphere, and give Nashville something to truly love. Once again, put your hands together for my man on the It's Up There podcast, my man, Big Loon.
Big Loon, Big Loon. We live. We still gonna give you some claps.
Brother.
I mean, you know it's real energy.
Good afternoon, everyone.
What's happening, big dog?
I want to thank everybody for being here today. I go by Big Loon. It's Up There podcast. For those of you that don't know me, anybody that you can think of in the culture. So I thank y'all for coming out. This is a live taping. What we're going to do tonight is have a very, very important conversation with Dr. Umar Johnson. Any of y'all know Dr. Umar? All right. Cool. Without further ado, man, let's bring out Dr. Umar Johnson.
Cool. Dr. Umar.
All right.
Can we get the I'll just click okay. All right. Dr. Umar, how are you, sir?
I'm well. Glad to be back in Nashville. It's been about 4 years. This might be my third visit overall. I end up in Memphis a lot more. I'm not sure why, but I have to start spending a little bit more time in Nashville.
You know, your last time in Nashville, ironically, we did a podcast.
Yes, sir.
It was at the beginning of this thing that I've created, and you are my first repeat guest. I told you that backstage. This thing is important to me, right? The conversations, the curriculum, the things that we discuss is very important. For me to have a repeat guest for my audience speaks volumes. And I want to let you know that, as I did in the back, you know, in public, that I appreciate what you bring to the
brother. Appreciate you as well.
Today we're gonna have a heated conversation.
All right.
There's a lot to talk about.
Yes, sir.
So for the recording, you guys, I need to start off speaking to the camera. So y'all give me a second. Welcome to It's Up There podcast. I go by Big Loon, your active and attractive host for another episode of the fastest growing podcast on the market right now. Who we have here today is a monumental force in Black culture. This guy is someone that if you ain't seen him, you had to be hiding under a rock. We got Dr. Umar Johnson in the building to have a monumental conversation. I don't want to, I told you back there, I don't want to really have a conversation about your school, because everywhere you go, we have the same conversations, and I think they put you in this spot where it's just comfortable for you to speak, and I want us to have a real conversation today. But for the audience, can you give them an update on your school really quick?
Absolutely, brothers and sisters. And let me first say thank you to those of you who have supported and donated to the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. We get a lot of donations from across the state of Tennessee.
Are we doing live? We jigging out? We jigging out? We jigging out? Oh man, did they shut me out? Okay. See? This live stream stuff.
How are you, sir?
I'm well. Glad to be back in Nashville. It's been about 4 years. This might be my third visit. Are conscious and looking for
the fastest growing podcast on the market right now.
This conference, Black Farmers Conference. We plan on having the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. We're not going to start school for the young people for another year because we need time to get all that right. But we're going to start holding community programs immediately. That will
in the building to have a monumental conversation. I don't want to, I told you back there, I don't want to really have a conversation about your school, because everywhere you go, we have the same conversations, and I think they put you in this spot where it's just comfortable for you to speak, and I want us to have a real conversation today. But for the audience, can you give them an update on your school really quick?
Absolutely, brothers and sisters. And let me first say thank you to those of you who have supported and donated to the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. We get a lot of donations from across the state of Tennessee, a lot of them. And we just completed all the renovations on the school. So now, yes.
All the renovations.
Yes.
All the
So
renovations.
now we have an HVAC inspection that'll take place in a few days, and then we'll be applying for our certificate of occupancy from the city of Wilmington, Delaware. Once that's done, we're going to have a paint day to paint the school, a cleanup day to clean up, ain't much to clean up, and then a furniture day to move all the school furniture in, and then we're going to have a grand opening for the community. So I want to invite all of you to come on up to Wilmington, Delaware, to the grand opening of the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. We're not going to start school for the young people for another year because we need time to get all that right. But we're going to start holding community programs immediately. There will be a conscious singles convention for those of you who are conscious and looking for a mate of the opposite gender who's also woke. We're going to have the conscious singles convention. We're going to have Black women's convention, Black men's convention, ex-offender conference, Black media conference, Black investors conference, Black farmers conference. We plan on having 2 conferences every month for the community. So although FDMG will be a school by day, it will also be a Black community organizing hub by night.
Okay.
We're about 20 minutes from the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania International Airport, PHL. So you want to look and see what flights get you to Philly the quickest, round trip from Nashville, and you just drive 20 minutes to the front door of the school. Harriet Tubman spent a lot of time in Wilmington. Frederick Douglass escaped through Wilmington. The Honorable Marcus Garvey incorporated his Black Star Line steamship in Wilmington. Bob Marley used to spend his summers in Wilmington. So a lot of history there in Wilmington, Delaware, right down the street from Philadelphia.
Shout out to you, Doc. I know building that school. I know what it's like to build something, but some of that magnitude, man, just monumental. I know that fight it's a mean fight.
It was a hard road, my brother.
Yeah.
9 years. I remember we took our first fundraiser in April of 14. St. Louis.
Wow.
We wanted to purchase the St. Paul's College in Lawrenceville, Virginia,
St.
an
Paul.
HBCU that was closed down. They wanted $2 million. We didn't have any money. We started raising money for St. Paul's College. The Chinese bought it, took it right from up under us. So then we said, well, let's just get us a day school. So I thought we were going to end up in Detroit because Detroit has a lot of Catholic schools in great shape that were being sold for a reasonable price. Once they found out the purchaser was myself, they refused to sell. Then there was a school in Mount Vernon, New York, hometown of Denzel Washington, Heavy D, Puffy. And we wanted to lease this Catholic school. They found out it was me. They said no. We had another school right outside of Cleveland, Ohio, Cleveland Heights, Catholic school. Philadelphia, we had a Catholic school. Trenton, New Jersey, we had a Catholic school. My point is we could have been open years ago. But every time we found a school that was worth buying, once they found out I was the purchaser, they refused to sell it. And in places like Chicago and Detroit, the public schools for sale, they would only offer me the schools in the worst condition. So the good schools, they wouldn't even show them to me. When I went to Detroit, they showed me schools with no roof, schools with no back, schools with the water up to your thigh. Why are you showing me this when you got a school right across the street? So it was made very clear to me that the white power structure wasn't going to do anything to help me get this school. So one day, I'm on, LoopNet, and I see this school in Wilmington, former charter school, is a Black charter school, and I'm on my way down to the Nat Turner 2017 Great North American Eclipse, if you remember that big eclipse.
Yes.
It was August 21st of 2017. So August the 20th, I stopped by the school, I saw it, went down there and celebrated Nat Turner with the eclipse, came back, went to Cuba to get my EFI initiation, came back, got into the school. I said, this is where we need to be. But they wanted $2 million. We didn't have it. So they wanted the same price St. Paul's wanted. We didn't have it. So I stayed after them for 18 months. I kept calling, harassing them, pestering them. And I said, listen, nobody going to buy this school but me. Sell me the school. And then one day I called them, and I don't know, it was just my lucky day. They said, we're going to give it to you for what you got. And so February the 7th of 2019, we closed.
Wow. Wow. That's dope. Yeah. So how do you explain to someone who doesn't know you what you do and why you do it?
I mean, formally, You know, I always start with the foremost, so I tell folks, you know, Dr. Umar Ifatunde is a doctor of clinical psychology, certified school psychologist, Pan-Africanist, former Minister of Education for Marcus Garvey's UNIA, author of 2 books, Black Parent Advocate and Psychoacademic Holocaust, founder, obviously, FDMG Academy and the National Independent Black Parent Association. But if I was to sum all that up, I would say that as a Pan-Africanist, we all, as Black people, as African people, have to decide how we're going to make our contribution to our people.
Yes.
And so for me, I've decided to do it in the area of education and mental health. And so opening up this first school, we're hoping to have so many more come after it. Because from a psychological perspective, I understand we can't change nothing about our predicament until we change the way we think.
Exactly.
And so the thinking has to be changed in the children. Frederick Douglass, one of the mottos of our school is, Frederick Douglass, who I'm related to by blood, he said, quote, "It's better to raise strong children than repair broken men."
Yes.
And so that's the motto of FDMG, get them while you're young, because being a therapist, I know most people who...
Now, I hope y'all listen in to what he just said, you know, because that's very true, especially in these times. There's a lot of broken men and there's a lot of broken women, but there's a lot of broken men. And the only way to raise a new, greater generation is to raise the future and to make them stronger and elite men and women. Both parties, not just the men.
To our people. And so for me, I've decided to do it in the area of education and mental health. And so opening up this first school, we're hoping to have so many more come after it. Because from a psychological perspective, I understand we can't change nothing about our predicament until we change the way we think. And so the thinking has to be changed in the children. Frederick Douglass, one of the mottos of our school is, Frederick Douglass, who I'm related to by blood, he said, quote, "It's better to raise strong children than repair broken men." And so that's the motto of FDMG, get them while you're young, because being a therapist, I know most people who come to therapy will never change. They will never get helped. People show up with depression, bipolar, anxiety, low self-esteem, domestic abuse, suicidality. Most of them will never change because they're not ready to. So that's people who've been dealing with a problem for 5 or 10 years. You're talking about African people who've been dealing with post-traumatic slavery disease for 400 years. So if people don't change after 10 years, imagine 400.
Right.
So we have our work cut out for us, but I definitely believe that the mind, we have to start with the mind. There's no economic revolution. There's no political revolution. There's no social revolution. There's no cultural revolution. There's no spiritual revolution without the psychological revolution. And if you study all great movements in history, everyone, Chinese Revolution, French Revolution, Russian Revolution, Cuban Revolution, American Revolution, African Revolution, Vietnam Revolution, they all started with an educational system to transform the way the children thought.
Yes.
So if we're going to change, we have to change with the mind. You know, we want to change our spending habits. We want to change the situations between Black men and Black women.
Absolutely.
You're not going to get to none of that until you change the way we fundamentally think about ourselves.
Right. We're going to talk about some of that stuff today, though.
Yes, sir.
For sure. But I want to start with Deion Sanders.
Okay.
You went to the Breakfast Club, and I want to roll this clip because I want you to kind of further speak about what we saw here on the Breakfast Club. Let's pay attention.
So he likes rolling.
He never said, I can be gone in 3 years.
What does it matter, though? His contract is
I'm
only
going to tell you
for
why it matters. I'm about to tell you right now why it matters. Because he damn wrong. Now, if he told them, if I'm going to go back and study some more, but from what I seen him say, he was not that direct. But
Definitely
if he was, and that's not what I saw, so we disagree there. But if he was, he's still wrong, but it's a low level because at least you was transparent and you gave him informed consent. They knew you could leave at any time.
That's right.
Okay? Still wrong. I'm going to explain in a minute. Now, if he didn't tell them that, okay, and I'm hearing from people who know athletes on that team that they were not told it that way.
They weren't listening.
And they're upset.
Because he said that on 60 Minutes.
Okay? He didn't say it that way, Charlamagne. I saw that.
He did. That's an
not.
exact
No,
quote.
he didn't.
Exact
Now,
quote.
if he did not do it that way, that automatically means that Deion Sanders used, abused, and exploited HBCU Jackson State just to be given an opportunity to show predominantly white institutions that he could coach. If he only used them as a stepping stone to getting a job at a white college, he was dead wrong. Sanders. The reason I'm so personally disappointed in Deion is I thought he was there for a movement, not for money. Meaning, Deion Sanders, the coach of Jackson State, I foresaw a situation where Deion would hire other coaches, other retired black NFL greats to coach other HBCUs. Yeah. In doing so, you attract our top tier high school athletes to come to HBCU.
Maybe.
Stay with me.
Eddie George is at Tennessee State.
Stay with me. Football and back. You know, like I know, if you got top tier NFL greats coaching HBCUs, the athletes are coming just like they was coming for Deion. He showed you, Charlamagne.
Deion, though.
He showed
Dr.
you.
Umar.
And his other one's
Deion,
just as
one
great.
of the most famous people ever.
And his other one's just as great. So listen.
Eddie George at Tennessee State.
That's one person. We're talking about a system, not an individual. So, depending on white money, you got HBCUs at risk of being closed. I read something that said almost a half of them. A half may not survive the decade. So this was bigger than football. This was about the survival of the HBCU.
It's bigger than Deion,
especially
though, Dr. Umar.
no,
Yes,
no,
it is.
no.
So I wanted to play that. I want you to build on that some. For those of you unaware with that clip, and just to give some context and some groundwork around it, that clip was in reference to Dr. Umar's opinion about Deion Sanders leaving Jackson State and headed up to Colorado to coach that team. You mind building on that? I want us to have that conversation.
Sure. First, I want to say that I have tremendous respect for Deion Sanders and what he's done. For a long time, he was one of my favorite NFL players. I have nothing negative to say about him as a human being or as a man. We're speaking about his obligation to the black community and what he was in position to do to help secure the legacy of HBCUs. Now, the other day, Deion Sanders.
Hold on, before you go.
Sure.
Because I know you got a lot. You believe Deion can secure the future of HBCUs?
I believe he had a strong chance of being able to lay the foundation for doing so, yes.
So laying the foundation and securing is different. We can
not necessarily, because we have to see it in motion.
Absolutely.
But the point is
the motion.
Deion Sanders was bringing top recruits to Jackson State.
Right.
I saw Deion Sanders as being the catalyst of a movement where ex-NFL greats and NBA greats would occupy the coaching ranks at the premier HBCU campuses, pulling all of our talent that is exploited by the PWI back to the HBCU. College athletics is a multi-billion-dollar business.
Absolutely.
We have at least 40% of HBCUs right now in danger of being closed down.
Yep.
We tried to buy one. There's a few more that just closed down in the past year. If you lose the HBCU, you lose middle-class Black America.
Yep.
The HBCU is responsible for more than 50% of our attorneys, 50% of our engineers, 50% of our teachers, 50% of our doctors, if I didn't say that already. So the HBCU has single-handedly kept a professional class in Black America. You just had a situation, as I mentioned to Charlamagne, where the Supreme Court just threw out affirmative action in college admission, which means white colleges no longer have to pursue the Black student anymore.
Absolutely.
That just made HBCUs more critical. If they don't survive, the Black middle class and or professional class doesn't survive. When Deion showed up at Jackson State, and I've spoke to players after that interview, players who told me Deion did not tell us he could leave. Not that quickly. Multiple players.
But at what point do we...
But let me finish that point.
Go ahead.
So therefore, you come to this HBCU, you see the change that you're able to generate. Why not systematize this so the HBCU can now compete with the Alabamas and the Florida States for that football revenue, that basketball revenue, those top recruits. And now the HBCU doesn't have to worry about handouts and contributions from alumni and celebrity blacks because.
See, this is one thing that I love about us, but it's something that we have to give each other some grace. At the time, Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders and the Sanders family at Jackson State, you won't have a chance to get drafted to be an NFL player. You may be the greatest Jackson State player ever in history, but we all know that everybody has their dream. Deion knew his son's dream, and he knew his talent, and he took him to the promised land by bringing him to Colorado, by upping his value to a different society so that they can see how great of a player he is, because he is going to be the number one pick, and he is going to play for the Raiders, hopefully. We shall see. Because I'm in Vegas, so I would be love to see those games. He's a big, big time player, and we all knew that in college at Jackson State, but NFL would have never gave him a chance or even gave him an opportunity to be a first-round pick. So that's where we want to stand with that, Umar.
You're now bringing in enough revenue on an annual basis from your athletic programs, the same way Duke and Carolina do.
And another thing is, as Black people, that's what I was going to say, give us grace, because, again, one person's dream may not be the dream for everybody, even though they may not understand their value. Dr. Umar understood Deion's value in that place. Deion understood his value, and that's why he went to go get what he knows, go get more money. But Shedeur is the whole purpose on why all of that happened. His greatness and his dad coaching him on a consistency. So his dream is to go to the NFL and be a first-round draft pick, higher pick than his dad, and ball out and win some championships. And I fuck with Shedeur heavy as far as just like the sports, his attitude, charisma, who he is. Man, when you got a dad that's a top dog, man, that's how you is, man. You a cool ass nigga. You just happen to be like that. I know, because I'm from that same cloth. And I feel what Umar's saying as far as him at the HBCU, because I went to a HBCU and it thrived for that time as far as those games, those FAMU games versus Jackson State was even bigger than what they were before. But the caliber of players that Shedeur was playing against is nowhere comparative to what he's playing with now. So it was all to transfer him up to the next level.
To sustain the university.
You stop talking.
Deion Sanders could have went down in history as one of the greatest black men in American history.
You don't think so?
Had he, say that again.
You don't think he's still going down in history?
As an athlete, but that's irrelevant to me. I don't care about athletes. I care about black success.
As a coach, you don't think he's going down?
As what coach?
As a coach.
Black man.
He may. I don't know what the future holds, but that's not important to me.
So what is he? What would he?
Because athletics does not in any way, shape, form, or fashion compare to black survival and success. I don't care how many trophies you got, how many rings you got. That does not compare to where we end up as a people.
Is sports athletics a portal or portal to power though?
How is it a portal to power when less than 50% of black Division I male athletes graduate within 4 to 5 years, and at least 40% of them never graduate at all? They exploit them for 4 years, and they back in the hood selling crack and weed. How is that a portal to power?
Throw them away.
I understand that, but at the same time, I feel as though someone like Deion Sanders can come through that and continue to elevate.
Deion Sanders bragging the other day that gained the home opener for the University of Colorado, Boulder, Colorado, with a black percentage of 1.3%.
Facts.
Cracker land. 1.3% black people in Boulder. Y'all know King Kong was coming. 1.3% black people in Boulder, Colorado. 2.6% black students at the University of Colorado. Deion bragging that the home opener made $18 million. What did that do for us?
I mean, I understand that, but I think he's thinking about his journey. The same way, hold on. The same way you're thinking about your journey.
No, my life is for the people. Everything I do is for the people.
All right.
The people.
I understand it. And you know, we're gonna have some clapping and all of that.
You're gonna have it.
It's funny to me.
Because I'm the realest man in Black America.
Listen.
Let them
what
know.
we're gonna talk about is the truth, though, because
we're dealing with the truth.
We have to live in reality. We're not. The claps don't make us right or wrong, right? What we have to focus on is the truth. You're telling me that your life. So if that was the truth, if your life was all for the people, you'll live at that school. You wouldn't have a home.
I probably won't go home once the school opens.
Before it opens, you would take the money from your home and put it in the school.
I have what to do.
All of it.
Just about.
See, that's what I'm saying. So there's room to think about yourself.
Yes, but yourself does not take precedence over the people. My life is for the people. It is not about personal achievement.
So you don't
nothing wrong with that. Here's what I'm saying, because I don't want to make it all about Dion. You understand?
Right.
This is a systemic problem we have as Black people, where we never subvert the personal agenda for the best interest of the race. That's where we have to go. Chinese, the race come first. European Jews, the race come first. Arabs, the race come first. And with Black people, ourselves come first.
Man, let them know. Selfish
because
motherfuckers.
all power is in the group. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Please let them know. Facts. You mad? He's eating your ass up.
Y'all are funny.
Hey, Loon,
y'all are so funny.
With you,
hey,
Loon.
you know they were gonna do.
Loon, I fuck with you, Loon, but he eating you up right now. You kind of gotta agree, bruh. There's no, I know you're trying to angle, but you gotta agree, bro. That's a fact. That's a true fact, and it's a harsh reality. The problem is people love living in the lie. It's a harsh reality. Change it. You feel it? Change it. That's the fucking feelings that we talking about, bro. Go ahead, Loon.
Because you're powerful with this talking thing.
Bill, make some noise.
This is why I brought you, though, Umar, because, again, the way you speak, I think you're one of the most brilliant speakers in the world. But, again, I want us to hammer this point down. You don't sleep at the school, right?
Well, remember,
you do have a life outside of the school, outside of the mission, outside.
I have a life outside of the school, but I don't have a life outside of the mission. There's nothing I do on a daily basis that isn't directly tied to the liberation of African people.
I don't know.
Give me something.
I don't know your daily. You give me your daily routines. I don't know. I find that. I mean,
I'm at the airport today coming here. I'm on the phone consulting with a mother because they're trying to expel her special ed son illegally because they never done a manifestation determination. They never gave him the behavior plan that the IEP law requires him to have for them to even consider the expulsion. Then I'm on the phone with another mom trying to help her save her son. People call me 2-3 o'clock in the morning with mental health and educational emergencies. You understand? So I'm not saying that I am the most devout Black man on the planet. I'm just saying if it ain't me, I don't know who it is.
Man.
All right, so
let them know.
Get back to Dion because you popping it right now.
No,
let's get back to Dion.
No,
in all actuality with Dion, I feel as though when I look at even people like business doesn't have moral clause in it, right? So
no, European business doesn't have,
and that's what the
exactly.
colleges are, right? Ain't that the European structure?
Okay.
All right. So we're speaking about situational awareness.
You choose.
You cannot ignore the facts. Dion is inside of a structure and a system that he has to play a certain game the same way you do.
So Dion had to lead Jackson to go to all-white Colorado because he's in the system?
Yeah.
No, Dion.
I believe Dion to be chasing a dream. I believe Dion to be chasing a position for him, his family, and then the mission. I believe the mission is still in the car with Dion. Absolutely. Sometimes when I hear you talk about the mission for him is saving kids.
At an all-white school, who he saving Black up there? Who Dion saving? Who's Dion saving at the University of Colorado?
He's saving children.
Then you get mad because he clowning you, bro. It's fact.
His son. There they go.
Whose son? His.
Did you save your daughter?
Of course.
All right.
But
so
not
that,
at the
I don't
expense.
like. Hold on.
Not at the expense.
You keep
Not at
on.
the
What I
expense.
think, listen, it comes off disingenuous for me when you try to act like I'm gonna put y'all in front of me and mine. I got to save me and mine. He got his son with him.
I
He
didn't
is
know,
on
I
a
didn't know
mission.
Deion Sanders was broke and poor in the hood.
No, not at all.
Okay,
but
then.
my mission
So-
ain't accomplished. You ain't broken poor, but your mission ain't accomplished.
Okay.
So every day we wake up, we go towards the mission.
How is his mission tied to the white college?
His mission is tied to success and results. You're looking
For
at
who?
it for him and his family, his
For him and
son.
his family. What about
So,
the community?
Again, that's still on the agenda, but
Where at an all-white school? Where is the community on the agenda? Where is the black community on the agenda at Boulder, Colorado?
So what I did, if I'm Deion Sanders, I come into Jackson State and lay a blueprint. I break a mold. I do something that's never been done. But for you
And
to
that
ask
was?
me, that's for what you just spoke to. You spoke to him bringing all this revenue, bringing these
he
athletes.
was there for how long?
That's not what we're speaking about.
No, it is what we're speaking of.
Okay.
Because it shows a lack of commitment.
No.
See, here's the issue.
Opportunity calls.
You know what the bigger issue is here?
Go ahead.
What do we value more?
Money or
building
commitment?
Systems of success
Facts
for young black children or being accepted by white people?
Ah!
That's what this is about. Deion went to Colorado not for the money, because he wanted to prove to white people he could coach white children.
Woo! Woo! You mad, Loon? Loon, don't shake your head, Loon. It's a fact, bro. It's a hard truth. You shouldn't have brought Deion's name into none of this. And, you know, shout out to Deion and Shador. They're my dogs. But there's a dual reality. We can be great if we stay great and stay persistent. There's a possibility Shador would have never went to the NFL. There's a possibility he could have still gotten drafted at a late round and still proved himself. But Deion and Shador took the decision to do what was necessary for Deion to get paid and for Shador to ultimately get paid. I don't think we should have an issue with this as a community. But we should have an issue with the system that is stopping all of us from moving forward. That's now paying college players big bags when there was previous college players that started this system.
That's not right.
Look at all them. Look.
You
Oh,
said
it is
that's
right.
not right.
Look.
This
Did
nigga.
y'all see all the celebrities who was at that game last week? Did y'all see them? Flying all the way to Boulder, Colorado.
Woo!
Why they don't come to Tennessee State like that for your homecoming? Why they not at Howard like that?
Woo!
Why they not at South Carolina State? You know why? Because it was a white school.
Oh,
It's
sir.
the same reason why entertainers will go to the Grammys and go to the AMAs, but they'll start fights at the Source Awards and the BETs because we value white people. We want to be accepted by white people. Deion wanted white people to know he could coach at a white school.
I think this is miscategorization, Mr. Dr.
No,
I think what Deion wanted was to show that he could be successful in collegiate sports.
He could have done that in Jackson.
I think because that, well, he did it in Jackson. This is the point I'm making.
2 years, was it?
He won.
Yeah, he did it, and he did it.
He won trophy.
He did it. So what I'm saying is, though,
Brother, come on.
Listen,
He used them to get seen, known, to go to a white college. And you know what I think, y'all? I believe the white power structure sat down, had a meeting, and said, we got to put an end to this.
Oh,
if
yeah.
we let Deion
There was a
stay
lot
at
of
Jackson,
meetings.
and he start pulling Ed Reed and Randall Cunningham and all these ex-NFL greats to these HBCUs, they going to steal our money. This is a $1 billion empire. We cannot afford for the HBCU to steal all the top tier athletes because there will be a reversal of power in D1 sports. This is what they said. And they said, we know Deion ain't the loyal type to the black community because he's the one who also criticized Colin Kaepernick for taking a knee. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to get the whitest school in the country to offer him some money to come teach them. Because he could have went somewhere. They were making a statement. Deion was sent to Colorado to make a statement that every one of them ninjas got a price. Find his and pay him off.
you know what I think? And they listen. See them faces? You see?
Talk to me about
Hey,
that.
y'all feel him. Listen, when he sit back and do you like it, Bro, when he sit back and do you like this right here, he kicking the highest game he can kick right there. As high as he can get, boy, but it's effective. Listen, I think what I believe is that in college sports, we have to be effective to get hired to do certain things. Just like you, I want you to look at it through your lens and the things you've been able to do and how you had to exit certain routes. You had black people come and try to fix your school up, and you had an issue with that. Sometimes the power structure calls for us to need a handoff, need an assist, need something to put us in a position.
Black contractors scheming and scamming ain't got nothing to do with Dion running to 1.3% black.
This is what I'm saying
Boulder,
about
Colorado.
So here let's wrap that around. HBCUs and business in general, not HBCUs, but business in general has no moral clause.
I disagree with that.
Why?
From a European standpoint, yes, we ain't Europeans. Our business always have a clause.
Exactly.
So for us not to have access to power, what business or industry do we even control?
We're a $2 trillion people.
What business or industry do we control?
That's the problem.
Okay, so his access to power goes through
Boulder, Colorado.
Goes through the power structure.
All this money Dion making for them, by the time he's done, he would have made far more for them than he earned from them. Not only that, God forbid, if he ever begin. But the point is, he shouldn't even be in that position because you had the chance to restructure an entire HBCU athletic system permanently, and you sold it out for money to go to a white college.
They weren't going to listen.
That's the facts of the situation.
They weren't going to let him bring Lil Wayne and everybody.
It's undisputable. That's what he did.
That's
why he's not still at Jackson.
He's not at Jackson because he had an opportunity.
Umar, they all
an opportunity to go teach to coach at a white school.
No, to showcase his skills in a different level.
Oh, we don't know what Dion is capable of.
No, not in college. Not again. You have to coach in these different markets the same way you got to go speak in different markets. Same way I got a podcast.
But I don't compromise.
It ain't about compromise. It's about results. I keep telling you, I'm showing up to show out. I ain't showing up to do that other stuff.
Who's results? Exactly.
For my stat sheet, for what I've been able to do. Yeah. So if
they trying to turn black people to a permanent underclass, and you talk about stat sheets. Burn the damn stat sheets.
Damn.
Nah, you need that. If that's the case, you would sleep in the mop room at your school.
I will be. I don't think these
are future plans. But this dude here is working now. I'm telling you, if you believe what you're telling me, you will walk in that school and say, "Damn it with the house, damn it with the car." Until this school get up and roll, and Umar don't got nothing.
Well, I agree with everything.
All right, so that's my point.
You can't compare my commitment to the black community to Dion's because he has yet to show it.
You don't think he's saving children?
Doing what?
Being the motivation. Continue.
I'll rest my case.
Oh, so you don't think motivation is necessary?
Brother, to whom much is given, much is required.
You telling that to me, and I got a lot.
Dion has a lot.
Yeah.
So for you to tell me that he's somehow benefiting black children because they see him winning at a white college, that's the same argument Obama maniacs made when Barack was in the White House and Negro said just him being there was a benefit to black people. Only problem with that, it didn't play out in the statistics.
Damn.
High school graduation didn't go up. Crime didn't go down.
Damn.
You understand? We didn't do better on a single index in this country as a result of Obama being in the White House. So now you're giving me Dion on the white football field, Barack Obama in the white man's house. Listen.
They're clapping for nothing. They're clapping for nothing.
No, they clapping for the truth.
They're clapping for nothing. It's hard. It's hard because you're not even getting through it, and they're clapping. So I know they're clapping for nothing.
No. They hear me, but more than hearing me, they feel me.
Yeah, they feel you. I feel you. I believe you. I believe you to be the truth, like I always say. But I'm telling you that I believe you not to believe what you're saying. I don't believe that you truly believe that someone should put everything they have into the mission. I don't see you doing that. That's
the only way we win.
I don't see you doing it though.
How? What?
You doing it?
No.
What?
Show me another psychologist
who
has done more to change the way black parents deal with the mental health and school system in this country.
I haven't seen. I know what you do, and for the sake of conversation, let me push back.
In history,
for the sake of conversation, I will push back. Where's the result? Show me some numbers. Show me something tangible I can look at.
I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have every parent I've ever saved in Child I Help email you directly. And then you can take it from there, my brother.
All right, now definitely have it. I'll pull it up on the interview.
Black
you see,
power.
and here's the
black power yesterday, black power today, and black power tomorrow. But most of all, black queens forever, snow bunnies never.
Y'all get Dr. Umar Johnson in rap form tonight. Y'all get Dr. Umar Johnson in rap form. So, how far are you willing to go for your children?
As far as the mission requires. Man. See, here's the thing. Man. We have different value systems, right? And the problem with black people is we operate on a platform of selfishness and individual agenda.
Yes.
Every other group, the culture comes first. The culture comes first. Could you imagine if Deion Sanders was at a historically Mexican college and he got an offer to go to Boulder, Colorado and turn his back on the Mexican students at the Mexican college on the Mexican football team? He would have never done it.
Why is this looked at like turning your back? He took a job.
But because he did. He had a chance to make a structural, systemic, historic change in the benefit of black athletics.
You believe that they would have let him make that change, but you don't believe that we have that access to any power. But he could have made that change single-handedly.
What access to power at Boulder, Colorado?
No, it's not a finished product. This is what I'm saying.
Okay, what will the finished product look like?
We don't know, but he's on a journey the same way. See, here's the thing I find disingenuous. You were someone that started a school. You went through criticism. Every move you would try
part of the movement.
And here's another black man.
I'm building a black school. He had a white college. How you comparing them?
Listen,
can you please? There's levels. You cannot compare
Deion had a charter school. He never owned an independent school like I do.
It was a charter
school. It was a charter school.
Well,
do you know what a charter school is?
Hold on, we'll give y'all a chance.
Charter schools
we'll give y'all a chance to speak. You know, we are live recording.
Charter schools are publicly owned.
We are live
Frederick Douglass
recording.
Marcus Garvey Academy is independently owned by black
people. But
people.
I'm saying, listen, back to what I'm saying. Hey, Umar.
LeBron James,
Umar.
School.
Dr. Umar Johnson. Dr. Umar Johnson.
Know what you say?
Dr. Umar Johnson. Stop.
She was wrong. I had to clarify.
Yeah, I understand. Listen, though.
Who owns it?
Listen.
Who owns it?
Listen.
Trophies!
Hey, hold on, sweetheart.
Trophies,
So we'll give you an opportunity. I'm going to give you a mic in just a second. Listen, though. You're judging Deion Sanders, and this is not a finish. We will in a minute, but I don't. Hey, hold on. Now, hey, man. Y'all don't. Hold on. Whoa. Hold on.
I love my brother.
This is my show. Let's remember that. This is Loon's show. Y'all can clap all you want. We have to talk about the things I want to talk about. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Right? Dr. Umar. Because I haven't finished this point. I really want us to spend some time in. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
But in particular,
I just don't want it to look like I'm trying to dig.
I know these guys. They know this is. I'm just trying to get information, and I want you to speak to him.
Yes, sir.
As if he's watching. I want you to speak as if they're watching because they 9 times out of 10 are.
You watching? They all watching.
So I'm telling you, this is important to me. So now,
give me 1 second.
I'm saying that I feel as though it's unfair for you to judge Deion Sanders in his current position as he is on the journey the same way you were on your journey for 12 years to build a school that some people say should have took 1 year.
Okay.
Now,
but how can they say that if they never built it?
You've never did what he did.
He never done what I'm doing.
So again, why are you speaking?
Well, what is he doing? He going to a white college.
No,
a lot of black coaches went to a white college. What do you mean?
No. He's breaking the code of what it looks like to be a head coach. He's trying to get to a head coach.
The first black head coach of a white school?
No. He's the first of his kind. He's the first of his kind.
Okay.
He's a different kind of coach.
Okay. And at the end of the day, what what are you expecting to come out of Deion? What does he change being the coach at this white school?
No.
Let's say Deion goes 30 years undefeated.
Whoa.
What the hell did he change for black people at that all-white school?
Whoa. Whoa. Slow down.
I mean, that's a loaded question. You can change a lot
No,
of
it ain't
things.
loaded.
Yeah, see, you can't tell me what a loaded question is. These are tactics, and I know you're a great speaker. Stop the tactics. You know, the this, the did. These are tactics. Yeah, these are tactics.
Man,
so
this
we want to
is
just have
passion,
now.
bro. Ain't no
Listen, I
tactics. You
believe
mad.
him.
You got
Let's
you
just
at
move
every
off
point on
because I feel
class,
as though.
please.
Hey, look, I feel as though you clap too much. We going back. Clap too much. We going back. Let's talk about ESPN and Fox. What we saw with Shannon Sharp. According to Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless, and Shannon Sharp had a run-in, and he was let go. This news just came out. A lot of people thought he left on his own or on some kind of good.
So Shannon and Skip had a run-in.
Yeah, there was some argument live
Backstage.
about. No,
the live show. I remember that.
Yeah. And so I think that bled over to behind the scenes and led into eventually those two guys not being able to coexist. Shannon Sharp is now on ESPN. Stephen A. Smith broke the news that he was asked to leave. What do you think about people like Shannon Sharp sitting next to someone like Skip Bayless and providing that type of style and swag to those?
I think the Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless situation is so symbolic for black people in America on many levels.
Yep.
Because Shannon was a better commentator than Skip.
Oh, 100%.
He made the show.
100%.
But because Skip was the privileged white man,
yes, sir,
Shannon made the mistake of outshining the master.
Woo.
And within the white power structure, you're not allowed to do that. Woo. And so Skip was willing to cut off his fingers to teach Shannon a lesson that you never go against the white hand that feeds you. And so it was unfortunate, but I'm glad Shannon is gone, because to me, I believe he was selling himself short,
absolutely,
constantly trying to play humble black man to this arrogant white man.
You think he played humble up there? I've seen him
do
do
many a times.
Absolutely.
And you saw it on y'all saw him when he kept trying to ingratiate himself to Skip. He tried to win Skip.
Give me some
back
example.
over.
Give me an example.
Just in the nonverbal, in the language, in the deference. He always tried to make sure he didn't go too far in challenging Skip. He always started the shows with the hand, the pen. You know, he wanted it. He didn't want to leave. I think Shannon tried to win Skip back over, but Skip, being the slave master he is, he needed to teach Shannon a lesson. And although his ratings are going to drop, in Skip's mind, it was well worth it, because in the mind of a white man, what good am I if I can't even check a black man?
Yeah.
So that was all about race, and it was about power. And I think Shannon may have not fully understood the rules of racism. And the first rule of racism is all white people are racist.
What's up,
and the second rule of racism, white people don't share power with black people. So the minute Shannon wanted an equitable power sharing in the conversation on Undisputed, he had to go. Skip had to let him know, we are not partners. I'm the slave, you're the slave, and I'm the slave master. Shannon tried to break the code, change the power dynamic. White people don't do well with you changing power dynamics, because at the end of the day, all they have is their white privilege over and above you. Damn. But with that being said, and I love my brother Shannon Sharp, I think he got a good heart, but until he stopped running around with them damn snow bunnies, I'll never be able to give him the total respect that he deserves. I think he's a good brother, but he got to heal whatever went on with him and his children's mother, ex-wife, whatever. But for him to be as dark as he is and to only be running around with white women, it's a disgrace to the race.
So love isn't love to Dr. Umar Johnson.
If love is love, why don't we see rich white women marrying broke-ass black men? If love is love.
Does that speak to, what are you saying with that?
I'm saying, what white woman married to a black man has ever done anything significant to help black people? Woo! Kobe Bryant's widow, Vanessa, who inherited over $1 billion worth of his wealth, she just did a college partnership in Kobe's name. And all 5 colleges she chose to be part of this Kobe Bryant thing were white. She didn't choose a single black college for this black man's money who didn't attend a college at all.
Isn't college the European power structure? So do we participate with it or not? Like at some points we hear, yo, get outside the power structure, create your own. Then other moments we hear, yo, you should have stayed at that HBCU in the white power structure because you still could have utilized it. But if you go to this other school, you're in the white power structure and you can do nothing. I'm confused as to why the power.
Be confused.
Okay,
because he can't do anything in Boulder, Colorado. At Jackson State, he could have did a lot. What we're talking about is Kobe Bryant's widow taking his black man's money and not using any of it to support HBCU.
I know black people ain't supporting nothing with their money.
Okay, so do I. But that wasn't the point.
So it ain't about the skin color. It's about the intention.
No, it is about skin color. It's always about race.
It's black
Everything in America is about race.
It's black people that don't help black people. I ain't been helped by...
Because they've been taught not to help black people.
Okay, so if that's
and who taught them not to help black
still situational awareness.
Who conditioned them not to help black?
Still the same
situation.
Who
trained them not to help black? There's a history to self-hatred. I'm not exempting black people, but any problem we got, if you don't start with a plantation analysis, you off base.
Yeah.
And just to this point, you know, I really believe that just in general, man, we have to heal ourselves and understand what slavery truly did and being in bondage. And I'm not saying we was slaves as far as just locked up in bondage. Some of us was, but you know, it's been a mental slavery, educational slavery, a system of fortitude where it's been a lot of lies, a whole lot of lies that have not been uncovered or even talked about and just kept being swept under the dirt. So amongst that, I say this, that, you know, Dr. Umar has a great point here. You know, I know Loon's trying to hold court, but the reality is the only change starts with us coming together and knowing what we want and focusing on what we want and keeping those morals in place and keeping everybody else out.
But at the end of the day, I'm telling you that it's not just being black that makes you contribute to the cause. And I think you're framing it like
black and conscious. Black
so
all
right. So you got black people with money that don't check the conscious box, that do nothing for the black community.
That's true.
So if we can't just say, if you're black and in a position that you're gonna do something.
But you can't scapegoat psychologically dysfunctional Negroes from the fact that they exist in a white racist power structure. The power structure is still the power structure, whether you commit it or not. And the only way we're going to get black people to be focused on building their own institutions and systems is to build our own institutions and systems. That's what Deion could have helped us do at Jackson State.
No, because
he chose Snow Bunny Boulder, Colorado.
No. See, and this is where I just think you just tripped yourself up, because you're still telling Deion to participate in an HBCU system.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so there we are. You still in the, so how can you do something if the system is the system no matter where you go?
A black system is a black system. A white
so
system.
So now you're saying college, if it's an HBCU, is a black system.
The HBCUs grew out of a legacy of enslavement. You understand?
Yeah,
me?
but that, you know,
they were built to give black people the opportunity to learn how to make it in this world. They are discriminated against. They are ignored, and they are being marked for extermination.
Absolutely.
Deion Sanders was at an HBCU at a time where they really could have used him to stay put and create a system that would have revolutionized the financial system of Division I sports. That's all I'm saying.
What do you think about
chose money?
What do you think about female rap?
What do I think about female rap? Be more specific.
The
I think all gangster rap
over-sexualizing.
is hell.
So we'll get to gangster rap. I want to focus on female
Well, they
rap.
gangster raps too, ain't they?
So it's kind of over-sexualized.
Yeah,
People to say that it's reached a certain height that is uncomfortable for certain people.
Pre-pornographic.
Hey, Chloe.
Yep. So you have no, I mean, what's your thoughts on it? Just that's it.
If I were in charge, there would be no gangster rap and there would be no soft pornography rap. It'll all be exterminated. And one of the biggest contradictions I see right now as we celebrate the 50 years of hip hop, is I don't hear nobody having a conversation on how hip hop has hurt Black America. Gangster rap is the marketing scheme for the mass incarceration of Black males. And nobody's saying nothing about it. 50 years of gangster rap, 50 years of hip hop. Most of the money made by Jewish publishing houses. Not a single Black institution, relevant Black institution. And let me tell you what relevant institutions are. Schools, banks, hospitals, supermarkets, manufacturing and distribution.
Sir. Those are all
50 years, billions of dollars. The most influential music form on earth.
But the generation
in 50 years, they haven't built a single institution for Black people.
I'm standing on what
throw it in the trash.
So that's gangster rap. And I've heard you also say that they're flaunting and certain things. You feel as though that they're almost shitting on Black people who are
the main message of gangster rap is I made it out the ghetto, you didn't. And I'm going to flaunt to you what I have that you may never get. It's about making yourself look important to people who don't have much.
Now, by you, see, you made a lot of money off. Do you know you
made a lot of money off what?
Yeah, I got you. Just hold what you got. Do you know that? Do you know that you've made a lot of money in like the motivational space? Do you know people view you as like some sort they pull motivation from you? Do you not recognize?
Of course, I'm the greatest Black speaker on the planet right now. And
okay, so when you say that, and let's hold off on some of that, Dr. Umar. We'll have to,
you mad at his confidence?
But seriously, people look
but
at
I don't
you,
make much money from that. I make my money from
you get your brand visibility though from that. See, that's value that goes in different buckets, especially when you're building a brand.
My credentials pay the bills, not the work for the people.
No, bro, you can't tell me that, Umar. Don't do that.
That's a fact.
No, it's not. No, it's not a fact. Because there's a lot of school psychologists. It's a lot of people with your attributes that don't make the kind of money you make. And if they did pay the bills, then you wouldn't take bookings the way you do.
Putting the work in.
Okay, I'm not going to break down my bookings.
Right.
I'm just going to say that a lot of what I do in the community is done at zero cost. I don't charge a penny to go into the prisons. I don't charge a penny to go into the halfway houses. I don't charge a penny.
Last time you've been to a prison or a halfway house?
About a month ago, last month. I don't charge a penny to go to Africa.
How do you know what to charge for and what not to charge for?
Well, because I'm a doctor, I can charge for everything that I do. But I'm saying I don't charge for anything when I leave the country.
No. Yeah.
I don't charge for anything when I work with vulnerable populations. So if one of them call me up right now and say, Dr. Umar, I work at the youth prison. Can you come down here to Nashville and speak to my boy? Sure, just cover the plane ticket. I'm not going to charge you a penny. I've never charged for those things.
Right. So how do you know what to charge for and what not to charge for? Do you charge for
because I don't charge for vulnerable populations. So if you are helping people help themselves, I'm not going to exploit that. I'm coming for free. Just get me there. That's it.
Okay. Again, I want you to know that
I didn't even charge for my speaking for the first 10 years. You know when I started to charge for my speaking? When it started taking me away from my psychological services. And then I had to make
if you're making so much money on psychological services, why the hell am I going to come speak for free? Or no, because I know what you're going to say. This is about the mission. So I'm saying
it is about the mission. If you don't know the mission, you don't know the mission.
So much money on the psychology. Why the hell am I speaking 10 years for free?
Get here. Get here. You put the mission. Man, you all about money. You're all about money, man. That's where you're gonna leave it at.
Tell me, why are you interested in speaking at all? And I'm trying to be respectful. You guys don't make me be this.
I was sitting here by the ancestors.
Disrespectful means just turn up in my content. Give me a second, Dr. Umar. Disrespectful means turn up in my content. This is a show that I'm having. So we're
brothers.
Yeah, we real tight. So this is right. So disrespectful means turn up in my show. And I shouldn't have stopped, but I want to address that. Continue. I'm sorry.
I believe that I was sent here. Part of my mission is to raise the consciousness.
Yes, sir.
And the voice is the greatest weapon to do that. I was never taught how to speak. In 4th grade Black history class, there was an oratorical contest in North Philly. I'm from Bill Cosby's neighborhood. And I got into the public speaking contest. I won first place, and I just never shut up.
Yes.
I was born to speak. I'm related to Frederick Douglass. He was a great orator. It runs in my family. It's why I'm here. You follow? So my speaking is more of a ministry of Black consciousness. It heals and it helps and it motivates and it transforms people. I believe that's part of why I'm here, but it's not the only reason I'm here, because we've had great orators all throughout our history. But what we have to do is build institutions and leave a legacy. That's what we have to do. The speaking is good, but it's not going to save us. The speaking is to get your attention so I can organize you for transformation.
Okay, so do you, I believe again, man, I don't know if you, I think you know this. I think you just, you're in this, you get into this spot, right? Where you, almost like you get in character. Not that you're faking, but you get into this like spot where you just, it's all about the mission. It's all about
it's always about
but I think your results.
See,
playing into it. See, this is playing into it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is playing
wake up at
talk to anybody who know me. They'll tell you.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, and I've been knowing you, so I know you own it. It ain't that, but
it's not fake with me.
Nah, but I do think that there's room to discuss that there's other things on your agenda that don't coincide with the mission 100%. Again, we went to that, so I want to move past that. Let's talk about your content creation. I was telling you backstage that you are one of the most visible people online. What do you do to keep your content valuable and not oversaturated?
You talk fast.
Nothing until the conversation we had. Now you're giving me things I need to think about based on our conversation we had earlier backstage. Right. But until this point, I never looked at my content as a means to monetization or money. It's purely to wake up our people, purely to give them an alternative view. It's purely to let them know that they're not crazy when they see things that isn't making sense. So it's been, I never knew that I would be what I am on social media. I never heard, I didn't even know what TikTok was. So people say, you need to get on TikTok because you all over it.
Right.
I didn't know. I don't have a YouTube page, right? So I didn't know social media would respond to me the way that it has, especially given my views, which many people would consider to be radical or controversial. So that was purely an act of God that I've been able to have that type of presence online, standing for what I stand for. I never expected that in my wildest dreams.
And you know what I find interesting? You came from a crop or a batch of conscious community where it was very strong. I said Umar is probably one of the only ones that's been able to transcend that run. A lot of those guys kind of have faded away. You still see the Candace Owens, you still see you, and I believe that's about where it stops at.
Yeah.
What do you contribute that to?
I think a lot of it has to do with my expertise as a school psychologist. It's kind of hard to separate my impact from my profession. Absolutely. Because if I was not a school psychologist, if I couldn't help parents help their children, if I couldn't evaluate, if I couldn't diagnose, if I couldn't teach them about the medications, if I couldn't help them with the IEPs, if I couldn't review the psychological evaluations, would I be as relevant? I don't know. Some people would say yes. Some people would say no. It's no way to know because I've never not been the school psychologist, you see. And so it's hard to separate the two. Although I think presently, though, I definitely think Dr. Umar, the Pan-African, is a much more popular person than Dr. Umar, the psychologist. But I think Dr. Umar, the psychologist, is more valuable in that parents clearly see in me someone who can help them.
And you know what I think it is, and this is old fashioned for anybody in content creating, it's like literally add value, whatever you're doing. And so I think with you really having a background in understanding the medicines and understanding psychology, I think that value did set you apart because a lot of people was just talking.
Yes.
When you get in the meat and potatoes, you get in the meat and potatoes and you really understood. I remember you used to walk around with the big DSM-5 book. And so these kind of things, I think, made you kind of reign supreme in regards to those guys that laid there. It seemed like the talking just subsided.
Yes.
Just kind of went away.
Yes.
The documentary era was a boom for y'all. You still get paid for any of those things?
Nah, I've never produced my own documentary, and the ones that I was in, I never really made anything off of those.
That's what I was talking to you back, utilizing your own packaging for you, because your brand is so big. Like everyone knows you. You're one of the most popular Black people in the world, but it's the packaging. That's why people can come and package you and sell it.
Yeah.
Right? People can come and say, yo, I'm going to get Dr. Umar on my DVD and I'm going to go get a bag.
Yeah.
But Dr. Umar should be able to put that DVD together with that voice.
And to your point, I definitely think I've lost out financially by being so giving. But at the same time, I would not do anything different, because I don't think we get that school built if people didn't know my heart was real. I don't think I would be as popular as I am globally if people didn't know my heart was real. So I don't regret any of it. You know, even now, people say, hey, you got to redirect your content on YouTube. You got about 5 different pages misrepresenting themselves as you, making money off of you. And we will get to that. But at the same time, that's how people came to know who I was.
Yeah.
By people posting the content.
Good snipers. I'm going to give me something to eat. Getting tired, man. I need some snacks. All right, we back.
So you got to lose a little bit to get a little bit.
You got to lose, yes.
Just like Dion.
Yes. That ain't got nothing to do.
Let me do what he be doing.
I don't. Cut it out.
No, but I don't know. It just wrapped back around to that. But seriously, you have to lose a little bit to get a little bit. You were in content wars with a lot of guys.
Yeah.
What was that era like for you?
I had a beef every year around Christmas
It was always
Try to
around
pay the
Christmas.
YouTube bill. Try to get the YouTube check.
That's what I didn't realize.
Yeah.
So my supporters said, stop responding, because if you notice, they always attack you around Christmas. So they can get their views up and get that Christmas money to buy their woke kids some white Jesus gifts. But it was always, see, when I came into the conscious community, right, I came unexpectedly. I didn't know I was about to blow. I just blew. I didn't know nothing about it. I thought I would just be a psychologist for the rest of my life, doing my Pan-Africanism, but I never knew I would become this, right?
Become
so
that
when
guy.
I blew up, there were people who had their niches. You had people who had the mental health niche, the Black consciousness niche, the Pan-African niche, the economics niche. And me, I do them all. So a lot of people felt like I was stepping on their toes, especially the younger guys. And so they would attack me every Christmas. And because I'm King Kong consciousness, I had to, beat my chest a little bit and let them know I'm from the hood too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
when do you stop that? Like, because for me right now,
when I realized they were doing it on purpose to make money, it wasn't even genuine beef. It was strategic beef to get his response, to get his listeners.
Yeah.
So now I don't even respond because I know.
Right. Now, here's the thing. When you have a legitimate issue with someone, like you do sometimes, when you speak on things that's really near and dear, like this is what I'm seeing, right or wrong, this is what I'm seeing. People can frame that in that way. So how do we keep it from, how do you keep the authenticity of, like, when I say something about Shannon, it ain't the same thing that they was doing to me, right? It ain't that messy trying to steal the audience, trying to steal, get visibility, clout chasing.
It's very different. Because like when we spoke about Deion Sanders, I made it clear, I respect him as a brother. He's one of my greatest football players. When we spoke about Shannon, I said, I think Shannon is a good brother, a marvelous human being. You know what I mean? So my thing is, I'm going to still big you up as my brother and just express my difference. When they came at me in a conscious community, they said he's a scammer. He's stealing the fundraiser money. He tricking it off in Europe, South Africa, Nigeria. Then they said I didn't have no degrees. Right?
Calling around.
He made up all the degrees. He ain't related to Frederick Douglass. I mean, anything you could think of, they were trying to assassinate my character completely. So it's completely different.
Is there a worthy opponent out there? Not calling names, but I'm saying, are there things for you to, I will respond to that. Like,
I mean, if somebody says something that I think needs to be clarified for my supporters and the school donors, then I'll clarify it, no matter where it comes from.
That's the thing, because it's the brand recognition and awareness that they tamper with, right? They tamper with what people know you for. And then that's why I'm talking to you about this, because for me, being in the podcast space and moving so quick, I find myself in content wars, right? With people, I'm like, yo, you dudes ain't built nothing, ain't done no business. And I'm watching, as you say, I'm watching these shots coming. I'm saying, it's almost like I'm watching the authenticity melt. It's like these dudes don't know me and they saying, what's happening? And I've came in and got rich from talking. So it's not something that's for debate.
You
know what I'm saying? And I'm building something, the conversations I have, people honestly enjoying this information based. Today we kicking it, but it's information inside of every episode. I feel as though podcasts are almost like encyclopedias. You should be able to go and grab an episode at any moment and get something from that. I feel as though things are transitioning. All information will live in some sort of audio form. Right? And so I'm racing to that. But when I see myself in content wars with dudes who ain't built anything, but they brand tampering. So it's almost like, damn, when do I really just go? Or when do I just say this? Let's let them talk. Keep building.
From my experience, it's best to let it go. You gain nothing by going to war with a smaller fish. You gain nothing by going to war with a smaller fish, and I had to learn that.
What about a bigger fish? Because I got big fish I got big fish I'm going at it with. Let me hold on, because they'll take that and say I gave them props. So let me rephrase that. I got people seasoned fish. I got seasoned fish that's after me.
See, even if you got a seasoned fish, if you look at it from the art of war, what will this cost you in the long run? Is what you got to look at. Because that seasoned fish might want to go back and forth with you all the time. And you're not looking for a long-term beef. But if you drop out too soon, it'll look like you caved to
You're
the
lost,
pressure.
yeah.
So you have to do a thorough analysis of how long they're going to draw this out, how deep they're going to go with it, and do I even want to entertain it at all?
I used to look at your lives and say, I wonder I thought you was conscious. But see, the more I talk to you, I know that you don't know the money that's floating around out there. When I'm sitting back there talking, you're like, yo, dude, you know, you got 6-7 pages. They doing $1 million a day. Like, this is thousands of dollars on a daily basis.
People stop me in the airport all the time and say, you leaving too much money on the table.
Yeah, and so when I look at you, at first I said, yo, these lives are like lost leaders for him. Almost like at Costco's, they keep the hot dog 150, even though they losing on the hot dog. It's like, I know when you come here, you're going to get enough to want to see what's behind the curtain or in the rest of the store. And so at first I thought you were using those more like marketing, but when I talk to you,
like
and it's,
teasers.
like teasers, like, yo, this a little bit, come get it.
Nah, I never did it for the money.
Man.
Like even now when I go live, I got to feel it. Man. My lives ain't even scheduled. Just like, you know what? Erica Mina caught our sister a blue monkey. Oh, hell no. I was in Brussels, Belgium. I had to go live on that because that touched me. You know,
what is your thought about that? Let's talk about that.
It speaks to the light skin supremacy complex that we still have in the black community. And by light skin supremacy, I don't mean light skinned people, because you could be a dark skin, light skin supremacy.
Just a little more, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I know dark skinned purple blacks who don't want nobody around them except yellow people.
Damn.
You see that? So you could be a light-skinned supremacist and not be light-skinned. So it's not about light-skinned people. That has nothing to do with it. It's a consciousness, you see. And I thought it was wrong. It was bad. I'm glad they fired her for it. She apologized, but the apology to me seemed a little bit disingenuous and almost like a smack itself. It was kind of, I didn't like the apology. I don't think it was humble at all. But that's the issue. We got colorism. I think black women have it worse than black men within the queendom. So we as
I agree. Black women, y'all be too strung out on a light-skinned girl, on what her color is, who she is. Y'all don't want to accept nothing. So problem is we need to accept more of ourselves, black women. Get to them, Umar.
Black men, we don't really look at each other's complexion when we hanging out. You feel me? We don't care, brother.
It's about who you
with
are.
The sisters, I've noticed. Sisters will look at the complexion of the women in their circle. You see?
Damn.
And the women in the circle who may not be the complexion they want can feel that get away from us energy. Wow. And that could be a dark skin circle or a light skin circle. Because even though light skin supremacy is more prevalent, you have dark skin supremacists who hate light skin people, right? So it goes both ways, although there's more light skin supremacy than dark skin supremacy. And it's one of those evils, one of those psychological residuals from the plantation that I don't think we've really stepped on yet. And I don't think elders have really accepted the role they've played in the maintenance of skin color worship. Because I still come across grandparents who make comments about dark skin. I've seen grandparents show favoritism, even in my own family, to the darkers versus the lighters, or the lighters versus the darkers. I've seen it. You know, I've seen how aunts and uncles will favor the light skin and dark skin. I see it in the public schools. And of course, the educational research shows us teachers pay more attention to the children in the class who are lighter. And so you could go in some schools.
Hold on, say that again.
Teachers pay more attention to the children in their classroom unconsciously who are lighter. The darker kids get less attention. There's been research done, and it has consistently, You could go to an emotional support class and go to the mentally gifted class. The emotional support class tends to be a few shades darker, and the mentally gifted class tends to be a few shades lighter. Because guess what? If you dark, we're not even testing you for mentally gifted. It's a very strong, and because most teachers in America are white women, that means when a black boy walks in, dark-skinned black boy, when he walk into the class, he's already been condemned from the start.
And I've seen this. This is a real thing. The dark-skinned, nappy-head boy,
big nose.
Oh man, he go through hell. Yeah. I've seen this is a real thing.
He only good for
they
sports.
think he's he got to be a hell of a guy in sports, or they gonna say he's dangerous.
He's done. If you can't catch this ball or shoot that shot, you're useless here.
Wow.
And that's why so many children go into sports, the black boys. It ain't because they necessarily want to be an athlete. This is the only way I'm going to survive or get recognized here, because I'm clearly not wanted because of the way I look.
And from the parents. A lot of times the sport thing drives the parent closer to you because it's like they're living through you in some weird way where they want you to play and you ain't saw your daddy. Your daddy don't clock in about none.
And I just spoke to a mother the other day who told me her son is only in sports and he's good, but he don't even like sports. This the other day. My son is only in sports, Dr. Umar, because his father only pays attention to him through sports. You see that? So the father only showing up if it's a football game, basketball. It's the only way he can get his father's attention. And so a lot of black boys are going into sports because their father likes sports, and this is the only way they can hook their
right. And I wonder why. I mean, why do you think black men do that? Like they live vicariously through their children in that way, like in the pathway, not just like you look like me, Junior.
Right.
Like they actually say, no, go do what I couldn't do.
Yeah.
Like what is
some
that
of
about?
it is natural.
That's natural.
It's natural.
That's natural, brother.
Right? I own a business. I want my son to own one. It's natural.
Natural genetics.
But
if my business,
it can become pathological.
Absolutely.
Right, but my bit before you go, because I know you finna smoke that. But my business, for it to even make it that far to be passed to my son, had to been successful. So passing down something successful is one thing, but to pass down my failure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And if you don't redeem me, the child feels twice as bad. Because not only did I fail on the football field, my daddy needed me to win in order to salvage his self-esteem. So now the child feels twice as low because not only did I fail, my daddy needed me to win this so he could validate himself.
Man, and they put so
and
much
that
in
leads to the marijuana smoking, the blunts. You see that? I let my daddy, even though my daddy might be saying, son, don't worry about it. You gave it your best. I know you needed this dick. Now I'm feeling less than.
Wow.
Now we both feel like we ain't.
The females, the women don't go through that, do they? Do they have a version of that? Like
they have a version, but it's not as strong because the ego.
The mother
of the man,
model, maybe the model mother, maybe the dancing mother. I've seen the dancing mother, like where
it's there, but it's there. It's not as strong because the
that
ego
athlete's
of the male,
strong.
the male ego is stronger than the female, right? But here's where it gets interesting with our sisters. It's kind of the opposite sometimes, where the father needs the son to succeed because he didn't. The mother wants the daughter to fail because she didn't win.
So stay like me.
Stay like me. So I see a situation where the mothers are sabotaging the daughters on purpose. They love them. They want them to do well. But they're having a difficult time accepting the fact that when this is all said and done, she would have exceeded me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think that's powerful.
Oh, we got a deep-seated mommy-daughter.
That's powerful.
A deep-seated mommy.
We cooking now. We cooking.
You got a deep-seated mommy-daughter. And I tell you one of the worst ones. Let's go back to the light-skin supremacy. When the mother is of a lighter hue and she values European standards of beauty. So she got the fine nose, the fine lips, the yellow skin, the wavy hair. But the daughter has very strong African-centered features.
Talk to her.
And she knows that the mother believes beauty is in the way she looks.
Facts.
So by contraindication, I'm ugly.
Not beautiful.
And then the mother never does anything.
These is nonverbal. I need people to catch that.
Nonverbal.
That's by indication.
Just through the example, the energy. Yes.
By the standard.
She going out with her mom, and her mom is all Europeaned up.
That's
big
it.
nose, broad lips, beautiful sister.
Yeah.
Beautiful sister.
But she can't see her beauty.
Right.
Because she's judging herself by her mother's standards.
Exactly.
Which are European.
Right. Continue. I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
I've seen a lot of girls' self-esteem get destroyed by their mother, never validating their African-centered traits.
I've seen it personally.
And then the mother I've seen
and
again, we're not being critical. We're examining.
Yes, because these are major issues.
We have to speak about these.
Yes.
So when we did, I've seen, because cosmetic surgery is big, and we're gonna speak about that. But I've seen where the mother sometimes, because we dealt with the man side, so I'm just trying to figure out where the women, if they're battling this and where it lies at. But I have seen where the mother would take herself through a round or two of cosmetic surgery. And by indicators that wears on the child as well.
Oh my gosh.
You know, the child said, oh, mama thick.
Yes.
And so I ain't thick. I must not be, you know,
I'll be
kicking
fine.
as high as she is, or
I'll be
being, you know, as
exactly
beautiful as she
confident.
is.
The
Oh,
mother is
my-
going to get surgery of any kind,
Any-
whether it's the BBL, whether it's facial reconstruction, whatever it is, breasts. She got to have a conversation with her daughters
Yep.
about why.
Yep.
Because if she don't, the daughters are automatically going to assume,
Get in line.
get in line. You were not comfortable with yourself.
I'm not.
I'm your daughter. I looked exactly how you look before you underwent.
Because you don't
surgery.
even look like me no more.
You don't
When
even
you
look
go
like
get
me.
all that work and come back home, man, we used to look just alike.
Which means what? It is a rejection.
Rejection of self.
It is a rejection
Wow, this
of
is-
your phenotype. And in rejecting your phenotype, you reject your children.
Mm.
Oh, is that?
Now, I do want to be clear to you,
Go
though.
ahead.
Maybe.
I could appreciate the BBL now.
I can't. And I'm going to tell you why. It don't bounce.
Now, you talking about the cheap one. See, you talking about the cheap BBL, Dr. Umar. And how you know it don't bounce, first of all?
You seen it?
How the hell you know it don't bounce? King Kong Kanye?
King Kong, baby. A King Kong, you ran through everything,
listen to me,
baby.
sisters. Please don't do it. It looks
Hold
good.
on now. We got a certain.
No, no. It
We
look
got two
good.
different.
No.
No.
It look good in the clothes.
That's it.
And it
Out
might
of the
even
clothes.
look good out of the clothes, but
Fake.
it does not move organically. A man can tell the difference. A man can tell the difference whether you fake in the front or fake in the back. We can tell the difference because the bounce ain't the same.
Hey,
as the
listen.
bounces at all.
It's the quality of the BBL you experience. So
Don't
we're
do it.
dealing with a guy.
Stay natural.
We're dealing with a guy who has experienced a horrible BBL. So y'all are getting the side of the story that's not accurate. I'm explaining to you
Don't
that.
do it, ladies.
Listen, and so I don't know where you pulled this one from, but I would say get another shot at that, Umar. You're wrong about that.
I'm all natural.
You're all
natural
natural.
now.
So I have saw you with Suki though. Right? So shout out to my sister Suki. Shout out
to Suki,
Sexy
huh?
Red. We gonna talk to all y'all. Talk
Yes.
about all y'all. I
Yes.
saw you with Suki on.
Yeah, Sister Suki and I, we're friends.
Mm.
We conversate
Exactly.
on different topics.
Communicate.
See, here's my thing. Here's my thing. As conscious as we are, we can't be so self-righteous that we can't go to where someone else is and try to move them from where they are to where we need them to be.
Absolutely.
I'm not the pastor who condemns everyone in the neighborhood and never get them to join the church. You see that? You have to meet them. She's a very influential woman.
Yes.
If one day she decided to come on over to the consciousness movement, everybody who follows her comes right on with her. And that's the day that I'm looking at. You see what I'm saying? So me, I communicate with anybody. And that's one of the strengths of Dr. Umar. They're not going to feel condemned, right? I'll get a brother with a white wife. He'll come over, Doc, I know you see what I got.
He said it like it's a bad sandwich or something.
You know what I mean?
No, you see what I ordered, bro.
You know, they say,
Man,
you know,
they
but you know, can we still have, of course, have a seat, my brother? Because guess what? If I cut him off, he'll never go back to a sister. But if I stay with him, I don't even have to talk about his white wife because I'm not going to disrespect her. She's still a human being. But by allowing him in my space, he's going to start reanalyzing that anyway. And then one day he comes back with a beautiful black queen. Doc, I couldn't do it no more.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So I've noticed in my work through the years, just exposing people to what's right can lead to a change in behavior. I remember back in my Garvey days, right? And of course, I'm still a Garveyite, but back in North Philadelphia, we got Temple University down the street, University of Pennsylvania, Drexel. And the students would come to the Garvey meeting and they would say, Marcus Garvey said, race first, put the race first. I can't do that. I love everybody. I said, it's not about not loving other people. It's about loving yourself first. Well, I can't do that. No problem. Just come to the study group. I didn't pressure them kids. And guess what? They slowly, one by one, started joining on their own. Just walk, I'm ready to sign up. I didn't do nothing. Just expose them to the truth. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I will meet with anybody. I will go anywhere. Just like Christ said in the Bible. I'm not comparing myself to Christ. When they say, you know, Master, would you go into the house of a thief? And he said, I go anywhere where I'm invited. That's how Dr. Umar is. I'll go anywhere I'm invited because I know that when you are presented with the truth, your soul responds to it. Right. And sooner or later, you're going to have to come around as well because we as African people, we are God's chosen people. And therefore, we are structured to
to participate in righteousness no matter what. You see what I'm saying? So when somebody holds up that mirror of righteousness to you, sooner or later you're going to have to consider it because that's your nature anyway.
You know what? And you know, I think, like I say, man, you're great at this. You're definitely great at this. But we didn't get an answer about Suki. We talked about a lot. You took me around the corner.
I told you we friends. We talk.
Right. But okay, so because see, we coming off the BBL conversation. Right. We're coming off how you are not interested in BBL.
Right.
Whatsoever, and I don't know if the sister has. Well, actually,
I've never seen her that way. We platonics.
Right. But again, I'm telling you that the circumstances are the circumstances, unknown or known, right? And so, by you being someone who is that strong about BBLs, right? I'll ask you about Suki, and I'm just telling you how we kind of got to her anyway, because I don't want it to seem like it's just.
I never asked,
right?
And I wouldn't.
Right. Okay.
I don't think it's my place.
Right. Yeah. Now, but you've heard some of the things she's said about you, right?
No. Yes.
All right. So meeting someone with a BBL that said some of those things about you, meaning that she finds you attractive. She, you know, certain things that she. So I'm saying the meetup. I mean, help me understand what's going on there.
The meetups are professional and platonic.
With a woman that calls you attractive with a BBL.
Yeah. Professional and platonic.
Okay, shut up. I'll leave it at that. Shout out to Suki.
Shout out to
with do you know Sexy Red? Familiar with Sexy Red?
I've seen her recently. I never heard of her before.
You familiar with her content?
No. I've heard the kind of. I've never heard her rap though. I haven't seen a video.
That's some of the content, and I got her coming on soon, so I don't want to, you know,
right.
slander her at all. But you know, it's just I was having that conversation about female rap and how, in my opinion, they're kind of mimicking what they saw the men do in gangster rap.
I agree.
I don't think that they necessarily created this path. Oftentimes, I see them promote a lifestyle that they don't even adopt.
Yes.
And it's dangerous, but it's dangerous the same way the men done it. And so I believe the men really led those women into creating that kind of content.
I totally agree with you. But the men were never held accountable for it.
No, right.
The women are being held. It's the double standard.
Right. And the women, again, sometimes they get with these guys, right? And it's like, and this is why I try to give grace on the content, but I know it's effective in regards to its programming minds. I know that, but I try to sometimes, because I always try to put myself in someone's shoes like I did with Dion. It's like, yo, see out of their lens, right? See out of a young girl like Sexy Red with 2 kids, 2 baby daddies, they both in jail.
Damn.
And I know how to rap. And I start rapping like this and it started going. Do I turn that off when I have nothing to fall back on? Like, how many people will actually, at 24 years old, start getting 100,000 a show, 60,000 a show, and just turn that off? Even if I know I'm not necessarily adopting that lifestyle, but it's effective for the family. And I think so many of us live in that place. You do. We all, that's why I try to give grace, right? I don't exempt anyone, but I try to understand the route they're taking. That's why when I look at a Dion, it's like, not a finished product. I think that we're on a journey, and Colorado is just on that list of getting where I'm going. And the same with Sexy Red. It's like you get in that position, turn this on, and it works. I got children. What do I do? What would you say to a young girl that's rapping that kind of content? How does she get out of that?
I don't think my message would be to the young girl rapping the content. I think my message would be to the Black community that gave rise to the circumstances that put her in a position where she had to sing that content. I think one of the things we often miss when we talk about accountability, responsibility, is that we fail to recognize that everything we do takes place within a culture. Exactly. It takes place within a community. And too often, because we are a disorganized, selfish group of people, we like to make individuals the scapegoat for systemic problems. You see that? Whether it's Sexy Red, whether it's Sister Suki Hana, whether it's the gangster rapper, everything takes place within a cultural context, right? So what situation was she born in?
What situation were her parents born in?
Exactly.
What did the black church do for her mother?
Exactly.
What did the black politicians do for her mother? What did the black community organizers do for her mother?
What can they do?
Well, number one,
Why would you
if it wasn't for the economic desperation, a lot of our young people will be making better decisions.
That's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, this thing working.
Yeah.
And
she should have never had to go there. The reason she had to go there is she belongs to a community, the black community, that does not feel the need to use its disposable income to create financial opportunities for its young people. Go to the streets right now. Our young people are terrorizing our community. And it's our fault because we have not created any opportunities for them. You let me go to a school that miseducate me. I get special educated. I get medicated. I get juvenile adjudicated. I get incarcerated, right? I get gang initiated, right? I get raped. I get molested. I got put out on the street by my mom, whatever the case may be. And now all that pain that the community allowed me to feel, I'm going to give it back to the community. And now you got 11-year-olds robbing 84-year-olds at the ATM. That video that came out last week, it made me want to cry. He looked like he was 9 years old, robbing someone old enough to be his great-grandmother. But when we allow our children to be raised by social media, when we allow our children to be raised by the television and not raising them ourselves. I mean, think about it. If you're a black child in Nashville, you're a black child in Chattanooga, you're a black child in Knoxville, Memphis, where can you go if you really need an adult to spend some time with you?
Nowhere.
There's nowhere to go.
No.
You can go to church, but you got to swallow their doctrine before they value you first. Y'all see how that works? You're not important in this church until you swallow this doctrine. So where can a black child go in America if they need an adult to spend some time with them? You see that? But the pimp will spend some time with me. The drug dealer spend some time with me. They're going to use me and exploit me, but they're going to spend some time with me. We have turned our backs on our children. We have not raised them. We have not nurtured them. And now the black community is collecting the karmic debt that has come from our neglect of our children. Schools and jobs. Build our own schools for our children and create jobs for them. If we never do those two things, we never get our young people back.
Is your school going to be credited in the state?
Yes. Well, remember now, accreditation is voluntary. State law gives you the right to operate. So the state approves you to operate. If you want to get accredited, that's voluntary.
The credited process isn't that what speaks to the workforce?
It speaks to the
No,
work.
not necessarily.
Okay.
Because you got to remember, you got children who are homeschooled to college. They never been to a school at all. You see what I'm saying?
Even in college? You can homeschool college?
No. Homeschooled into college. In other words, my child is applying
Same difference. Okay, I see what you're saying.
They
So
never
you
been to
plug
school.
in the FDMG instead of the homeschool, and it'll be like the same process.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Except we're a real school versus a
Right,
homeschool.
right.
Homeschool is a decentralized form of education. It's not the equivalent of private school, charter school, public school. You see, it's homeschooling. It's more of an activity than an institution, you see. But accreditation is voluntary. So if I wanted to go to Delaware State Accreditation Bureau, I could have them come in, look at all our paperwork, curriculum, teaching, boom, 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 and they would decide if they want to accredit us or not. Now, for me as a Pan-Africanist, I would never do that because I don't need white people to tell me how to teach black kids.
Exactly.
So I'll never be doing that, right? If the state required it, we would do it. You feel me? But I would not voluntarily go to white people and ask them, how well am I doing teaching black kids?
How much of your money from fundraising do you think came from white people? Any?
$0.
$0.
Yeah, there might have been a couple anonymous white folks who sent $1 or $2, probably, right? But am I consciously aware of receiving a donation from a white person? No.
So, this is good. So, a white person can't give you $5 million, say, Dr. Umar, I've been a fan of you since 2012. I see what you got going on. Go get that school done, brother. White man. I'm talking about whitest of the white.
I don't think I could take it.
Okay, so the mission ain't that important then.
No, it is.
How important is the mission when you can't take the money? I didn't speak to any
about the money,
stipulations
dog.
tied to
You
it.
keep worrying
I said
about-
this will get your school up and running tomorrow, and you denied it.
And the mistake you just made is you said a white person is going to give Dr. Umar $5 million. with no stipulations.
Yeah.
Who in this auditorium believes that?
No, listen. How is that worth clapping?
White people don't give that kind of money without no stipulations, brother. They don't give that kind of
Umar, honestly, let's talk about that. But what's that worth clapping about?
Yes.
All you said was, look.
Yes.
All you said,
mad. He got an audience.
This gonna play well on YouTube.
Boy.
But all you said was,
Loon, relax, bro.
What the hell did you say? It didn't even stick. What did you
listen,
say?
listen. Here's the part.
What did you just say?
You're missing.
That's what it was.
You're missing.
Yeah, okay, so listen. Well, I'm telling you,
you're missing the spirit.
Okay,
of it.
go ahead. Go ahead.
White man, give me $5 million, right? I build the school with $5 million. Y'all come to the grand opening.
Man, then the white man
Y'all
right
gonna be
there.
happy.
He talking about, I gave
Y'all gonna
Umar
celebrate.
$5 million.
But when you go home in the back of your mind, you're still saying, white people did this for us again. Do you understand?
Ain't nobody saying that.
No, yes.
These people lying.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
you are. You would say the same.
Ain't nobody, even if it speaks to the spirit.
No.
White man gave him that $5 million. He ain't really black.
It speaks to the spirit. You know why? 90% of all black institutions are financed or owned by white people.
People don't even know that.
Yes, we do.
Most people don't. This crowd may, because this is a college HBCU type.
Yes,
most people don't even think of it like that.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, if the mission is more important than you, how you feel, how you think, my emotions, then why isn't this money, even if they kill me about it, even if they, but the school get to get up and running. I just don't understand that.
Have you ever heard the statement, the journey is just as important as the destination?
Yeah.
How we get the school done is just as important as getting the school done. Let me ask you a question. How do I open up a school called Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy? 2 black men who believed in self-determination, but I let a white man build the school for me. How do I tell the boys that you can do this on your own? You don't need white people. You don't need nobody but your own community. How can I say that?
Do you truly believe that?
Absolutely.
Do you think that do you truly believe that it'll happen off the backs of only us?
It already has.
Done.
It's not open yet, so it hasn't happened.
Yeah, well, it will be once we get the certificate of occupancy, but it already has. Yeah.
So I'm saying, but so you've done this. So this got to be the first school without white involvement.
Definitely in 100 years since Marcus Garvey. And probably the first ever that was financed exclusively by the African diaspora. Every black community on earth donated to FDMG.
When did you globalize your movement? Because it wasn't that way at first.
No, I was always Pan-African, and so it was always global. It just took a while for my message to get around to the continent.
I feel like you started at some point going super Pan-African. Like I thought you was always conscious.
From the gate. No,
I'm saying I ain't speaking about in your spirit. I'm speaking about in your communication.
No, the message was always Pan-African.
It was always so
Pan-African.
even on those DVDs.
Yes.
Now every time I see you talk, I hear Pan-African.
So always from the beginning.
Okay, so I must have missed that. It seemed like I think started to evolve.
It's been Pan-African.
This is something I've always wanted to ask you. Where do you get this from? And I'm going to do a quick Dr. Umar impression.
Good.
All right? And I want you to tell me where you got this from. So you'll be on live, right? Say Dr. Umar's on live and you'll be like, good morning, brothers and sisters. You know, today we will make sure that we get everything we need to get done. Good morning today, brothers and sisters. Good morning today, brothers and sisters. Good morning today, brothers. You'll give them 4 or 5 of them, 3 of them. Okay, what is that? Is that you thinking? Is that you? What is that?
I do that.
Because I've adopted that. I want you to know. Yeah, effective. Yeah. It's effective.
The brain is the creature of repetition.
Yes.
Not truth. Repetition.
Yes.
Right.
Program.
So I say it 3 times. The points I really want them to get, I repeat it 3 times because repetition is how you condition the unconscious. So once to understand, a second time to understand, and the third time to overstand.
I knew that wasn't you stumbling. I knew it was something there.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yo, he just, I know him. And we speak and we don't really have to. So I'm saying when you do that, I said, oh, it's technique. There's something there.
Yeah.
Who did you study in regards to speaking? Because speaking is such a talent that people don't really understand. They don't even know how hard this is for us to just be doing this. Who did you study?
I never really studied anyone. I guess indirectly, Garvey and Douglas would be the main two, obviously. But most of our leaders were great orators, you know, so I've listened to all of them, but I never patterned myself after anyone or anything like that. You know what I mean? It just came natural.
You took nothing from any, you took technique. You ain't took no technique from no one.
If there was any technique,
cause see, you got the pointing, bro. I'm high level. Listen, this how I make money. So I'm high level examining speakers, right? Pointing, everything. I'm watching it all. So I'm saying, this is a developed thing. This isn't something you can walk off the porch with. So I wonder.
I think some of us are born with it, though. I think some of us are born with it. I think the great ones like Garvey, Douglas, Dr. King, you can't teach that.
Not at all.
You can nurture it. I ain't saying teach it. And that's what I mean. Like, you can't teach it. I'm not saying teach it.
Right.
Because teaching will speak.
But you can teach people how to speak, though.
Yes, but not on this level.
Right.
So I'm saying when I'm peeping what you're doing, understand I've already identified that I'm watching the best speakers in the world because this is how I make my money, right? So I ain't even talking about the rest of those guys. I'm saying the highest level of communication, right? You, the Farrakhan's, the people that I look at and say, oh, all right, let's pull a notepad out, get some of that technique, because there's breath control, there's pausing, there's repeating, there's face, you know, there's so much that's happening.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering who deposited anything.
The only technique that I'm conscious of having borrowed from my predecessors is the need to pause occasionally.
Yes,
because
so important.
I'll just go.
Yeah,
and I won't stop. So I consciously try to remember to pause.
Yes,
and that's probably more of a Frederick Douglass thing than anything else.
And because people have to take it in, even with me, like, see, because even with me, when you try to get into that vibe, you know, it's like, all right, at some point, I got to start talking to you like you listening. You know what I'm saying? And some people, they just talking. You got to talk to somebody like they're listening.
Yes.
You know, and sometimes when I need emphasis on something, I need to lay there for that. Like I even in our communication today, you would say something like, for your Black liberation, and you'll just let that live. And I think those techniques, I just want you to know that people are watching those things, and you're pouring into people indirectly just by,
you know, spiritually, right? There's about 5 different major spiritual gifts. You have your clear cognizance. That's when information.
So we're gonna end. It's gonna be part 1 of the stream. We're gonna get back to the second part tomorrow. Like we said, we didn't stream for about 2 hours now, overall. So we're gonna end that in that version. I mean, we're gonna end the screen sharing. Like I said, we've been doing that for 2 hours. So I'm gonna get back to it a little later, or even tomorrow. Go over part 2. You know, I think it was amazing what Dr. Umar spoke on. Let's just hear the rest of it tomorrow and get in tune. But like, comment, subscribe. Again, we're gonna keep giving reactions, paying attention. I ain't doing too much talking in certain ways because they got the platform. There's nothing to talk about. There's more to listen. You got to understand, and then overstand. Just like my partner just said, suckers can't join. Tap in, like, subscribe, and comment.